So we had a little bit of a heat wave a few days ago, but now it's starting to get really chilly and winter weather is back here. It's getting really cold out there, and I thought, you know what? Cozy, comforting, warm, soothing kind of fragrances would be perfect. And you guys have been asking me to do an updated tea fragrances list, so today that's what I've got. A top 12 list, 12 current favorites, and a bonus bunch of fragrances after the outro. So find out about my top 12 tea fragrances coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yeah, today I'm talking about tea fragrances. I find tea very soothing, very warming, very cozy, very comforting for me. And it's interesting, both tea and coffee fragrances, I find them to be, you know, very relaxing, even though they're most of the time very caffeinated kind of drinks to drink. But either way, these are some of my latest favorites. I did a video on tea fragrances in 2020, so it was, I guess, time to update it and make a little bit of a shorter video. So it is ranked in the top 12 list. Before I get to the fragrances, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So do you enjoy this note in fragrances? Do you enjoy tea and fragrances? Do you find it cozy? Do you find it soothing, you know, relaxing, calming, like I do? Let me know, put some comments down so I can find out. The tea fragrances can go very aromatic, can go very green, and also kind of gourmand as well. And that's what we've got in this collection. So we're going to get started with the first one at number 12. It's from the house of GUERLAIN. This is from their Aqua Allegoria collection. This is TEAZZURA. TEAZZURA is, you know, one of those kind of very herbal and aromatic kind of a tea fragrance experiences with some warmth under there. So these are even going to get even more cozy and soothing and calming when they add that warmth in there as well, like vanilla and things like that. So this, on the other hand, has chamomile along with tea. There's lemons, jasmine, bergamot. There's a little more bit of a lemony citron note, some zingy grapefruit, and musk and vanilla. Very delicious. I think this is definitely one solid release. It's ranked low because I find the other ones just a little better than this particular one, but I wanted to start off with something that you might have actually been familiar with. So TEAZZURA from GUERLAIN at number 12. At number 11, going to the house of BULGARI, this is Thé Blanc. Thé Blanc next to Thé Vert I find to be far superior. It is at 11, and I have left off Thé Vert off this list, but it is a part of the bonus fragrances. Find out about it more then. But Thé Blanc, man, it is so calming and soothing and beautiful. Very kind of ethereal and angelic kind of a tea experience. And Blanc really stands for that kind of like very white light and pure kind of thing. That's what I get with this one. But this Thé Blanc has tea, musk, black pepper, Artemisia, woods, orange blossom, bergamot, jasmine, cardamom, coriander, amber. It's really delicious. It's not like a very loud fragrance, just a perfect amount of this kind of cozy tea experience with woods, aromatics, floral notes, and citruses. Thé Blanc, number 11. If you don't know that one, please do check it out, because I feel like Thé Vert is very popular from that whole series of tea fragrances. But for me, Thé Blanc is definitely far superior in comparison to the Thé Vert. So next at number 10, going to the house of MAISON MARGIELA, it's Matcha Meditation. I feel like this kind of replaced their previous tea fragrance. They discontinued that one, and this one actually kind of goes into a gourmand direction, but a very green gourmand kind of a thing, because there's white chocolate here, so there's a very creamy quality to the fragrance. But Matcha Meditation has green tea, jasmine, mate, orange blossom, white chocolate, moss, cedar, and bergamot. So definitely has a green quality, and just like the previous fragrance, I'm drawing a blank with that name. It's gotten discontinued now for about 2 years, maybe 1 year, I can't remember. But you know, that whole creaminess from the white chocolate is really cozy, very soothing, very calming. But that, you know, green tea and the mate in here goes for a very, very green experience, and you've got a little bit of that jasmine in here to add this kind of like a floral, powdery, white flower combo. It's actually quite delicious. Definitely deserves to be on the list. It's more newer than, of course, their previous fragrance, which obviously by now is discontinued. So Matcha Meditation from Maison Margiela, and that's from their replica collection of fragrances. Next at number 9, it's Creed's Silver Mountain Water. So the previous time I did a video on tea fragrances, a lot of you were mentioning for me to, why didn't I include this particular fragrance on the list? Because I didn't own it at the time. I finally have it in my collection, and I do enjoy this particular one. In fact, I find this smell to be very, very soft, and once again, kind of ethereal like that Thé Blanc. It has a very, very pure quality to it, but this particular one also has kind of a metallic undertone or something in the background. Kind of, you get this kind of metallic experience in there, which is kind of fine. It still has that cozy, comforting, you know, soothing kind of experience to it with green tea, musk, black currant, bergamot, petitgrain, sandalwood, galbanum, mandarin. So I think the citruses with the galbanum kind of has a bitter green metallic quality to the fragrance, but it's very, very soft, very, very pure, and a bit ethereal, kind of like airy about this particular fragrance. Silver Mountain Water makes sense for it to be called that, because there's this kind of metallic touch to it, silver, plus the whole airy, foamy, cloudy kind of an ethereal experience with this one. So Creed Silver Mountain Water at number 9. Let me know if you're a fan of that one. I'd like to find out. So the next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is from the house of Maison Crivelli. This is Bois de Chai, this one right here. So this to me is a spicy, woody, lightly fruity take on tea fragrances, and there's this kind of a cumin note in here that is not mentioned or, you know, credited to have this note, but when I wear it, perhaps it's the notes combining together to create this kind of like a sparkling cumin pop kind of a thing in here. It's quite delicious, but it wears woody, but still very, very black tea and light fruitiness from the black currant, but features notes of cedar, black currant, black tea, papyrus, cinnamon, guaiac wood, incense, and patchouli. That papyrus note I really enjoyed in here. It adds an earthy woodiness to the experience. So overall, it's very woody with this kind of fruity tea experience. So Bois de Chai from the house of Maison Crivelli definitely deserves the number 8 spot. This next fragrance is from the house of Jovoy. This is Remember Me. So the rest of the fragrances on this list is very, very competitive. Like, I wasn't sure where I was going to put each of the fragrances, but this is what I came up with in this particular video. So number 7 could have been at 6 and so on, but this is actually, now we're going into like a creamy, lactonic, spicy tea you know, direction, where you've taken this very, very strong black tea that's got spices like cardamom, and then you've added this heavy cream to the fragrance to create kind of a sweet, there's actually sweetener in there as well, to create this kind of like a sweet, lactonic, lightly gourmand, spicy tea experience. It's quite delicious. Like, if you've ever done tea service where you get the whole, you know, like all of the things that you would put into tea, the milk and the cream and all of the good stuff that goes into to do the tea service. I feel like this is that into kind of a little bit of a Middle Eastern direction, or maybe even India and things like that. But this is vanilla, tea, cardamom, frangipani, ginger, woods, lemon, bergamot, cedar. There's zing, there's spice, there's floral touches, but in the end, it's a very, very creamy, lactonic, milky tea experience. Spicy as well. Jovoy Remember Me at number 7. Next, going to the house of Memo Paris. This is Winter Palace. So this one also very, very gourmandish, even though there's no milkiness here like the Jovoy Remember Me has. This one to me smells like citrusy, orangey, sweet citruses rather than tart, sour citruses, kind of, so citrusy almond cookies kind of together with the tea. So you're having the tea, you've left the milk out, but you're having these kind of like cookies along with the tea. So, you know, very delicious thing to do. I love to do that. Have you know, really hot tea with some kind of a sweet you know, cookie or cake or something. But this is absolutely delicious. Winter Palace is amazing. Orange, tea, tolu balsam, vanilla, lemons, grapefruit, tonka, bergamot, benzoin, mate, amber, and labdanum. If you don't know this one, do check it out. I think they've done a great job with it. It smells really, really delicious. Plus, it's got that kind of soothing, calming, comforting experience with it as well. Winter Palace at number 6. Absolutely one of a kind, delicious tea fragrance. I'm looking for the next bottle. This is from the house of Floraiku. This is one umbrella for 2. So I was looking up information about this particular fragrance, and I noticed that they have, this brand Floraiku has a lot of fragrances that focuses on tea. So I need to kind of, you know, go ahead and do some research on finding out what the other tea fragrances smell like from this house. But this, to me, once again, it's kind of a gourmand tea experience and fruity at the same time as well. So we've got black currant, tea, and cedar in here. So there is a little bit of a fruity berry-like experience, but I'm not sure if I'm getting black currant. I'm getting raspberries or blackberries and things like that in this particular. Maybe even blueberries kind of an experience. Like you're having a tea, very, very warm tea, but you're having like blueberry muffins or a blueberry scone kind of a thing. Maybe you've got a little bit of some milk or custard that you're putting, or butter even, putting on the scone or the muffin. It's that kind of a fragrance. Very, very delicious, very gourmandish, but absolutely yummy. It's a very, very yummy experience. One umbrella for 2 from the house of Floraiku. A great, great tea fragrance. And the next fragrance, going to the house of Wilhelm Parfumerie. This has become a really, really great favorite of mine. This is Dear Polly. And I recently featured this in an apple fragrances video, but it's definitely got lots of tea. It's got black tea or Ceylon tea along with the apples as well. So it's just a really, really delicious combination of that kind of soothing, calming tea experience with juicy, crisp, crunchy apples. So Ceylon black tea, bergamot, apples, black amber, musk, oak moss. I'm really in love with this collection. They're very, very, I don't know, they're just like, there's very much a balance with their fragrances. In fact, maybe, I shouldn't say this, but I'm actually liking Wilhelm Parfumerie a little more than Byredo. And the reason I say that is because the perfumer for Wilhelm Parfumerie does a lot of fragrances for Byredo as well. So I don't know what it is, but I'm really digging Dear Polly for that kind of black tea slash fruity apple experience. So this is Dear Polly from Wilhelm Parfumerie. Next up, going to the house of Le Labo at number 3, it's Thé Noir. This is a really, really a great smelling fragrance from this house. Could be a top 5 for sure from Le Labo, and I need to dig into that house and do another video about the fragrances. Are you a fan of this house, and are you a fan of Thé Noir? But this to me has black tea, bergamot, fig, bay leaf, cedarwood, vetiver, musk. There's a little bit of a rosiness in the background. Not necessarily full-on roses, but something in the notes put together kind of has a very rosy quality, which is absolutely delicious. Like you're having rose tea with fig fruits, and you know, just a kind of like a table full of like edible things that you're kind of smelling and you know eating and tasting and things like that. That's what I get with this one. It's absolutely delicious though. Much better than their matcha fragrance that just came out last year. Very, very underwhelming fragrance. But this one, absolutely fantastic smell. Le Labo Thé Noir at number 3. At number 2, it's Nishane's Oolong Cha. Again, this is really, really a wonderful tea fragrance from this house. Very fresh, very calming, soothing, citrusy, figgy, you know, fruity, and very, very citrusy as well. But it features tea, bergamot, orange, fig, lychee fruit, mandarin orange, musk, and nutmeg. So there's a little bit of spice in there. There's a little bit of, you know, I'm getting the fig fruitiness in here, but I'm also getting a little bit of the leaves. So either something is giving me like a bitter green leafiness like the fig leaves would provide, or maybe it's the tea that's in here. But a really, really delicious, soothing, calming tea experience. But it's fresh that you can wear it in the summertime and overspray because it smells really, really great. So Oolong Cha at number 2 from the house of Nishane. And my number 1 tea fragrance, as of now, as of today, is still this particular fragrance, my absolute favorite tea fragrance, L'Artisan Parfumeurs Tea for 2. A very, very spicy, very, very tobacco-ish, a very, very smoky as well, but kind of leaning gourmand, kind of a tea fragrance experience. It's so good, so good. I first discovered this particular fragrance in 2014. It was discontinued, 2013 or 2014, and then they brought it back. And I think it's a popular seller for these for this brand, L'Artisan Parfumeur. But this features tea, tobacco, cinnamon, spices, honey, ginger, star anise, gingerbread, leather, vanilla, bergamot. Absolutely one-of-a-kind fragrance. Very, very spicy, very zingy, gourmandish tea experience. So you should definitely check it out if you like tea and spicy fragrances. So this is L'Artisan Parfumeur's Tea for Two at number 1. And that's pretty much it for the tea fragrances. Stay tuned for the bonus fragrances after the outro, but let me know your thoughts on these 12 fragrances and let me know what you think if you have them or you've been eyeing them for future purchases. If I'm missing anything, let me know, but definitely watch the outro because there's 9 fragrances there that I'm going to quickly mention. But on top of that, if you do watch that ending outro, after the outro, let me know if there is still anything missing I should check out. Tea fragrances are some of my favorites. I first discovered tea fragrances from the green tea fragrances over at, what's it called? L'Occitane. I used to wear their green tea. I wore their green tea with mint. I wore their white tea. So I've been a fan since then, and so I'm always looking for a brand new tea fragrance. So let me know if there's anything I should check out that you're absolutely big fans of so I can look into them. Either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. Okay, we've got bonuses here, and I've got a ton of bonuses. We're going to start off with the first one. It's Berdu, Maison Berdu, Assam of India. This one to me is a very fruity orangey, but it's lemons, tea, and sandalwood. Nothing overly complex, but a great cozy, soothing, calming kind of a wearing experience. Assam of India from the house of Berdu is the first fragrance I'm going to talk to you about. The next one is from the house of Alexander McQueen, or McQueen. It's Sacred Osmanthus. This to me is a fruity osmanthus experience, but tea as well, and leather. Osmanthus has an apricot kind of experience, so apricot-y smell, you know, peach and nectarines and things like that. But there's also a leathery undertone with the osmanthus as well. So it's a leathery, fruity tea experience with this one. So Sacred Osmanthus from the house of Alexander McQueen. This next one is probably my favorite fragrance from this house, Currant NYC, or Currant New York City Sunday Brunch. It's just a really, really great name for a very, it is Sunday Brunch, yeah? Yeah, it is. Wait, is it? Yeah, it's Sunday Brunch, sorry. It's very cozy and calming, and I think the name is perfect because the kind of smells that are in here are very connected to having brunch on Sunday, but rather than having coffee, you're having tea kind of a thing. So that's Sunday Brunch from the house of Currant NYC. And next, going to the house of Comme des Garçons, this is Nomad Tea. And this time we've got the kind of cozy tea experience, but with mint. And mint tea is something I drink when I don't want caffeine. When I'm not like addicted to the caffeine, so I drink a lot of mint. But this one also has the caffeine black tea experience in addition to the mint, so you've added some mint to the black tea kind of thing. So that's Nomad Tea from the house of Comme des Garçons. Next, going to the house of Jasmine. This is Roasted Green Tea. So this one has a very green tea quality, like a green tea fragrance quality, that if you are familiar with that kind of a smell with the different fragrances that are in the market, you'll recognize it. But up top there's a little bit of a fleshy kind of an experience when you first spray it, kind of meaty, but it's unique that way, and it eventually becomes this very calming, soothing green tea experience. So Jasmine Roasted Green Tea is a great fragrance option. Then, of course, as I mentioned, Bulgari's Thé Vert is probably one of the very first green tea fragrances on the market that, although that was Elizabeth Arden's green tea, I believe, as well. But this one actually has a powdery quality and then very spicy as well, with you know, like citruses and tea, green tea, and some musky touches as well. So Thé Vert from the house of Bulgari, definitely very popular fragrance. But as I said, I do prefer the Thé Blanc over the Thé Vert, but I just wanted to highlight the Thé Vert for you guys as well. Next, going to the house of Oud. It's Tea Time, or The Time. And this one to me is tea mate with the citrusy touches and herbal aromatic touches, but they've thrown in the chamomile as well because you've got the chamomile tea experience, which I also drink sometimes when I want calming effects and things like that. But I think it's a great solid smelling fragrance with a gorgeous looking egg-shaped bottle. So this is the House of Ouds The Time, or is it Tay Time or Tay Time? This next one's from the House of Rosendo Matu. This is number 1. And the reason I like to put this one here, and even though it's like focusing on lots of citruses, it does feature a pretty prominent tea note. And in the summertime when it's really, really hot outside, humid, it's very, very exhausting, and this kind of fragrance kind of like relaxes me and calms me down from all the kind of stressful heat that's out there. But it's a really, really wonderful citrus aromatic and tea experience. So Rosendo Matu number 1 is definitely another great fragrance. And last but not least, going to the House of Imaginary Authors, this is Oh Unknown. This is a powdery black tea experience with some ambery touches and woods and musk as well. Really, really great fragrance. It does have a kind of Imaginary Authors DNA. It will remind you of some of the others, but definitely has this kind of a iris orris kind of powdery thing with a wonderful tea note. This is Oh Unknown from the House of Imaginary Authors, and that's the last fragrance that I'm going to talk to you about today. So I appreciate you tuning in. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Bye-bye.